Andrew, Anthony and Homer. Hi. We're in our last week, and I apologize for it being Wednesday already before getting this YouTube to you. I'll make this short. Um, the Edersheim readings, it was unclear on your course guide as to the distance into the book for this week, but basically I was wanting just to get you into part two started. So up to about page 200. The text is very, very interesting. It's been a long time since I've read all of that, but I want to go back through it. And he talks here in the start of page 111, excuse me, yeah, 111, about the fact that Herod was the last Jewish king over the land of Judah, the promised land, and goes on from there in developing what life was like at the time and making comment that the description of the city, there was up to 480 synagogues in Jerusalem. Amazing. That number can be contested, but there were many because there was only a requirement of 10 Jewish men to form a synagogue. But he points out there were different kinds of synagogues for different nationalities to say, and he mentions Alexandrians, Cyrenians, different ones. So you think about Acts 2, reading about all those languages being present. That kind of helps fill in some of the understanding how that kind of a phenomenon of 15 different languages mentioned in Acts 2 could take place in Jerusalem. So that goes on, and these next 100 pages is basically the John the Baptist and the announcement of Jesus, and then what's going on in Bethlehem. So a great read of background and understanding to the scriptures as you go through those accounts of both John the Baptist's startup and Jesus's startup, and the lives and the ministries God fulfilled through them. So for the scripture reading for this week, if you've been following the schedule, you just have Revelation. So in these 8 weeks, you've gone through the entire New Testament, and I'm proud of you. So this is something definitely that is proving that you can do this a couple of times a year to go through the New Testament, hopefully through the Old Testament as well, if not more than once. But that's the reading for this week. The assignment is your second New Testament book report, 3 to 5 pages. I'll attach the instructions here. So in these last 2 weeks, last week the bio study, and then this week your second book review is due. So we're finished this week. There's no more classes until August. So if you're not finished with all the assignments, you've got a reprieve and got some time to finish those up and get those to me, please. So thanks, men, for hanging in there. It's very challenging with all that's going on. But I did want to take this time to just also expose you. What is the next class? If you watch the Monday YouTube, you've seen this already, but it's a course on, again, church growth, but also growing leaders. So we're calling this Growing Leaders, Growing Groups, Growing Churches. And we're going to use 4 texts for the course. One's going to be Revitalize. Andrew Davis tells about his story at First Baptist, Durham, North Carolina, and just reveals out of that what God took him through, the scriptural principles that he had to stay focused on, and what God honored in obeying scripture and trusting God, um, and what took place to see a church be revitalized. So that, and then we'll do Empowering Leadership by Michael Fletcher. I've not read this book yet, just began, but this is all about raising up leaders. This is a large church back in Tennessee, but God's really taught them. That's been their DNA from the get-go, raising up leaders, and out of that, sending out leaders, just as we've talked about here in the Association for Our Farm System. And then we'll go to 8 Habits by Dave Earley. And you've read him already with Rod Dempsey. And another book we've had before, a text on discipleship is. This is Dave sharing about the groups and how they multiply groups. And so, what are the characteristics of a leader of small groups that allows for the multiplication of disciples, the multiplication of groups? So, that's what this text is on. And then our last text is by Johnson, Got Style. I just began reading this one also, but he's a denominational leader for American Baptist. I believe he did his PhD in evangelism. And this is a neat book. It's about helping people understand how they can use their natural wiring and personality and temperament to share the gospel. So it's very practical and very valuable. So these are the four texts. Again, there'll be about 800 pages of reading for the 8 weeks of this course that'll start in the first week of August. So thanks, guys, for all of your diligence and your faithfulness. God bless you. Have a great rest of the week. All right, bye.